It's the most dramatic, most shocking YouTube video you have ever seen before. Trust me, I'm the host.
I guarantee will be so emotional, so dramatic, and so controversial that it will have all of America stunned.
He just jumped the fence.
The Bachelor is a reality television show that began in 2002 on ABC that followed one guy on his journey dating a group of women in order to find the one. It quickly expanded into a reality TV multi-show franchise spanning over 20 years and counting, with The Bachelorette premiering just 1 year later. Since then, The Bachelor has aired 29 seasons, while The Bachelorette has aired 21 seasons and counting. Additionally, The Bachelor universe has multiple spin-offs, including The Bachelor in Paradise, which has been going on for 10 seasons, and the newer installments of The Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette. The Bachelor franchise has essentially created its own reality television universe, with every new season being advertised as the most shocking, most dramatic season yet. While in the past, The Bachelor has been peak reality TV, in my opinion, like when we got to see grown men jumping over fences, it has also been no stranger to scandal on and off the show. Currently, the ratings for many Bachelor TV shows seem to be dropping, as the Bachelor franchise has to now compete with many other popular reality dating shows across other networks and streaming platforms. Behind the scenes, the show has recently had a revolving door of executive producers, as there have been alleged incidents of workplace misconduct and toxic work environments. At the same time, ABC and Warner Brothers Entertainment are desperately trying to keep fans of The Bachelor, known as Bachelor Nation, engaged amongst so many other competing reality television shows. The recent efforts to try and revamp The Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 were a major flop, in my opinion, and now that same new executive producer of the most recent season of Bachelor in Paradise is going to be executive producing the new season of The Bachelorette. All of this, along with the announcement that Taylor Frankie Paul, Mom Talk influencer and star of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, is now going to be the next Bachelorette, has me on the fence about the future of this franchise. Is this stunt casting and overhaul of production a genius decision that's going to bring an entire new fan base to the franchise? Or is the show, which is already on life support, about to have a little spike before an inevitable crash and burn? Let's discuss. One of the main reasons I believe the Bachelor franchise is kind of currently in shambles is because the show has been a bit of a mess behind the scenes. Now, if I were to sit here and talk about every single scandal that's happened within the production to the contestants, this video would be hours long. However, I do think it's important to note that there have been a history of controversies throughout the years, many centered around racism. Since the original season of The Bachelor aired in 2002, there has been a significant lack of diversity within the show's casting. On top of this, when there are actually contestants that are people of color, it seems as though they kind of get thrown to the wolves, as they end up being on the receiving end of a lot of hate from people claiming to be fans of the show. And now producers have even admitted in the past that they have failed to protect some of these contestants. For instance, in a Variety article from 2024, the Bachelor producers from Matt James' season, Matt James being the first Black Bachelor, admit that they failed to protect him in these situations. The producers have also faced heavy scrutiny within their casting decisions, not only by casting contestants that have exhibited racist behavior in the past, but simply by just casting a lot of people that are only there for the fame. And now listen, I know it's reality TV. I know a lot of people are there because they want to become influencers. They want to use The Bachelor or The Bachelorette as their jumping off point to start whatever kind of career of fame that they are seeking. And I know it's fun drama. when people are cast and then you find out they're not there for the right reasons and it stirs all this drama up. Listen, the reason why I watch The Bachelor is for the drama. I get it. But in some situations, like in the case of Jen Tran's season, they did Jen so dirty. Some of the men on Jen's season of The Bachelorette were under the impression that Daisy or Maria from the prior season of The Bachelor were going to be the next bachelorettes, and they did not find out that Jen was a bachelorette until stepping out of the limo. Now, the problem with this is Jen didn't have a lot of guys there that actually wanted to date her. Many, of course, were going to stay on the show because they wanted to be on TV, but the simplest, easiest way to fix this would have been to cast guys who had said they liked Jen, or cast guys who were interested in dating Jen. But instead, we get this terrible ending to Jen's season where we find out that Devin, in fact, did not know that he was going to be on Jen's season. He was hoping it was Daisy or Maria. And the second after Devin broke up with Jen, he was following Maria on Instagram. So was it a lot of drama? Yes. But was it good for Jen? No. And at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to watch a season like that. Why give her these terrible options? Why not give her some options of people that actually wanted to date her? In more recent news, the shows within the Bachelor franchise have had constantly changing divisive leadership. For instance, in season 4 of Bachelor in Paradise, production was stopped because of allegations of misconduct, and one of their segment producers actually sued the producers for sexual harassment. In 2023, longtime producer of the show Mike Fleiss left because he was experiencing allegations of workplace misconduct. He also never commented on this investigation. After Mike Fleiss's exit, 3 people were named the new showrunners of the show. 2 of them had been working on the show for many years, including Bennett Grebner and Jason Ehrlich, with Claire Friedland coming from the Bachelor in Canada franchise. Interestingly enough, once these people took over, several higher-up producers left the show, with Jason Ehrlich then deciding to leave too after the first season of The Golden Bachelor. This would leave just Grebner and Friedland in charge of the show. Now here's where things get a little bit dicey, and just to remind everyone, this is all alleged information. I do not want to get sued. I am just recounting stuff that I have learned from my research, including a 2025 Deadline article exposing some of the stuff going on behind the scenes within the Bachelor franchise. The article reported that members of the crew have recounted incidents of verbal and mental abuse, mind games, and a lack of communication from the show's remaining leaders. Also in 2025, crew members that were slated to work on this summer season of The Bachelorette found out that the producers have decided to skip The Bachelorette, and many of them who were expecting that job had found out that they would not be returning to the franchise. While all this was going on, The Bachelor in Paradise was set to film with a mostly new crew led by a new executive producer, Scott Teddy. More on him later. The Deadline article goes on to allege the toxic environment created by Friedland and Grebner, recounted by many anonymous crew members. Friedland and Grebner, of course, would deny all of these allegations, but the comment section under this Deadline article is riddled with anonymous comments from people claiming to be crew members within the Bachelor franchise, airing out their grievances with Friedland and Grebner and recounting their own personal stories. Allegedly, of course, as these comments are anonymous also. I won't go into too many details on the comments by the crew members because, once again, it is all alleged and I would be here all day. But if you find any of that stuff interesting, you can go check it out yourself. Basically, all these people claiming to be crew members were giving their side of the situation, and many of them alleged that the toxic environment trickled down into every single department of production, including even the post-production teams. In the article, a studio insider goes on to defend Friedland and Grebner, saying that what had happened was the studio placed a bunch of new policies on the show that disrupted the status quo, and a lot of the employees were blaming the producers, Friedland and Grebner, for all of these new policies that they didn't necessarily like, as they didn't want change. But he says that it's mostly coming from the higher ups at the studio. The studio insider also goes on to say that the crew members were just mad that instead of promoting a producer from within, the studio found somebody from the outside to be the new showrunner. Now, bringing this all back around to the horrible treatment of Jen Tran, on After the Final Rose in Jen's season, we find out that her engagement to Devin didn't work out, as Devin started ghosting her shortly after they got engaged. He stopped answering her calls and texts, and then he broke up with her in a short phone call. Later on, the very next day, Jen found out that he was following Maria on Instagram, of course. Now, with Jen being upset about all of this, rightfully so, the producers made the decision to air the footage of Jen's engagement live and forced Jen to watch it while sitting next to Devin. And it was absolutely horrible to watch. It was so cruel, as a camera is on Jen the entire time as she is completely breaking down and being forced to watch this footage of her engagement. Before it even happens, the host makes a comment about watching the footage, and she even says, "Do I have a choice?" Remember, she's under contract, so she probably didn't.
Here it is.
Do I have a choice?
In the Deadline article, it is alleged that Claire Friedland and Bennett Grebner made the decision to put Jen in that situation, even though other producers were screaming at them to stop, as they felt it was a cruel thing to do, but the showrunners went through with it anyways. Meanwhile, the rest of the world had to watch Jen Tran break down on live TV. To wrap all of this behind the scenes drama up, Friedland and Grebner would continue to deny all of the hostile work environment allegations. However, it's not long after these allegations were brought to light that Friedland and Grebner would exit the show, leaving Scott Teddy, who was the showrunner for Bachelor in Paradise, to now become the showrunner for The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Another reason I fear the Bachelor franchise is currently in shambles is their overhaul of production and their grasping at anything to try and compete with many other reality dating shows. With the popularity of streaming, there is now a surplus of very popular reality dating shows, including Love Island, Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, F-Boy Island, whatever. I feel like every few months there's a new one popping up out of nowhere, okay? So how is The Bachelor supposed to compete with all of these new shows constantly stealing their attention? Ratings for pretty much all of the shows within the Bachelor franchise have been steadily declining lately, so it seems as though producers have been willing to try anything to emulate some of these other popular reality TV shows in order to keep their audience. Now, the Bachelor franchise has a history of trying different formats in order to try and capitalize on their audience's love for reality TV and drama. There have been several attempts over the years to try to expand the franchise into new and different directions, including The Bachelor Pad, The Bachelor Winter Games, and The Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart. Many of those attempts failed after just one season. Now, I do commend Scott Teddy and the producers of Bachelor in Paradise for trying to do something new, for trying to shake up the show, for trying to revamp and bring some life to a show that might seem to be getting stale. I just don't think that it worked out for them for several reasons. I found the latest season of Bachelor in Paradise to be pretty much unwatchable. It did not capture my attention at all. They had me at the beginning because they advertised that the people from the Golden Bachelor part of the franchise, the older people, were also going to be in Paradise. And that was kind of interesting to me. So I tuned in, right, to see the Golden Bachelor people. However, the Golden Bachelor people didn't even come into the show, I think, until the third episode. It felt so long to get there. And the show, I think, was trying too hard to emulate other shows that we already have. You can tell with things like the editing, for example, which I personally don't like that type of editing, but I know it's popular in a lot of other reality TV shows like Love Island and Love is Blind. They have, when they have choppy edits, they try to do quirky things. They play some random pop song in the background while they show shots of somebody in slow motion. That to me is not my favorite style, but it seems as though the Bachelor in Paradise producers and editors were trying to take that style that is popular in shows like Love Island and Love is Blind and bring it to the Bachelor in Paradise to make Bachelor in Paradise feel more like one of those shows. I just personally don't like that style of editing on those shows either. It comes off a little bit cheesy to me. It comes off a little bit much, like they're doing a little bit too much. That's my own personal opinion. Obviously, the other shows are popular for a reason, so I get it, but at the same time, I kind of want The Bachelor and The Bachelor in Paradise to be its own thing. I don't mind it being a little bit different in terms of the editing. Another way they tried to emulate these types of shows was they added these little like challenges in there. And this was before they changed the whole format to be like, surprise, it's actually about winning money. But they did these kind of Love Island type challenges where they tried to stir up drama, except for it wasn't really working out in their favor. So they would kind of halt the usual drama of whatever Bachelor in Paradise usually has to kind of set up these situations trying to stir the pot, trying to get other people to talk to each other and be in relationships with each other. It just didn't work out for them. And I honestly don't care for when shows do stupid types of challenges and stuff, and then later on they'll go on to make the show be more Survivor-esque and more the challenge-esque, as then they start competing for money and it's like they're voting each other off for some reason, and they all have to stay with their person that they picked from within the first 3 weeks, which I think took all the fun away, in my opinion, from what Bachelor in Paradise. Usually what I like about Bachelor in Paradise is the drama, and the drama comes from new people constantly coming in and, people switching up their relationships, right? Like 1 minute they're so in love with this person and then an improved person walks in and they're completely dropping their person they were in love with like a sack of potatoes for this new person. And they didn't have that because they forced everybody to stay with their original couple. And now suddenly they're voting each other off. They're competing in challenges for money. It just became completely unwatchable, as if I wanted to see people competing in challenges for money, I would watch The Challenge, okay? I would watch Survivor, I don't come to Bachelor in Paradise to watch people get voted off, okay? And that was the other thing that made me angry, is because I was genuinely curious to see the Golden Bachelors and Bachelorettes in Paradise, as I thought it would be a nice juxtaposition, the usual chaos and drama of the younger people mixed with the wholesomeness that you generally get with the older people. I think that's why people originally liked the Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette, is because it felt a little more wholesome, and a lot of those contestants are more likable versus on the Bachelor side of things. Of course, there are some likable people, but you get the gist of it. But when they started making it about voting people off, of course, a lot of the old people are the ones getting voted off first. I don't know. It just became unwatchable. It's not what I come to Bachelor in Paradise for. And I do think Bachelor in Paradise has been falling off. It hasn't been keeping people's interest lately. So like I said, I commend them for trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. But the everything they threw at the wall most certainly did not stick. I did not like the season of Bachelor in Paradise, I'm sorry, and a lot of the contestants they had were not very likable. And the drama wasn't really drama-ing like it used to. There was no people throwing cakes into the ocean, I'll just say that. It wasn't as fun as it usually is. So overall, I get why they are desperately trying to change things. I know they are losing ratings, but there's got to be a different way where we can create that drama that everybody likes so much. The reason why everyone watches Bachelor in Paradise, let's be real. I don't understand how they thought that they could curate drama in an environment where they were forcing people to stay together. It just didn't make much sense to me. It didn't keep my attention. Let me know how you felt. Did you watch Bachelor in Paradise this season? Did you like it? I would love to know how you felt about it. Let me know in the comments. But we will move on. Finally, I have to mention the maybe controversial decision to make Taylor Frankie Paul the next Bachelorette. Now, if you were unaware, like I was, this announcement came out on the Call Her Daddy podcast, so we can already see the direction that the Bachelor franchise seems like it wants to take in order to get a little bit of a younger audience. They chose an influencer with a big following. They announced it not on any ABC shows. They announced it on the Call Her Daddy podcast. They're trying to get this following of people that like social media and influencer drama and all that stuff to watch The Bachelorette. Do I think it will work? Probably. Do I think it has longevity? That's what I'm on the fence about, and we can get a little bit more into it. But if you didn't know, Taylor Frankie Paul is a TikTok influencer from Mom Talk. Now, Mom Talk is not the side of TikTok I am on, so before the whole Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I had no idea who this woman was. I'm sorry. But basically, a bunch of Mormon moms got together and made videos, and they gained a huge following. But then their fame skyrocketed when this whole soft swinging scandal was revealed by Taylor Frankie Paul herself. So within all this happening, she also got divorced from her husband. And the whole aftermath of the soft swinging scandal was shown on the Hulu TV show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has now had 3 seasons and has become one of the most popular reality shows on Hulu. Now, I don't really have much of context outside of that for who Taylor Frankie Paul is. For this video, have tried to watch a few episodes of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I definitely see the appeal. I love watching a reality show with good drama, and I know there's probably is good drama as you get more into the show, but I'm not sure if the show is exactly for me. It's not what I was expecting. And maybe this is going off a little bit, but I for some reason was under the impression that The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was going to dive deeper into the woman trying to get away from the Mormon church and the Mormon religion and talk about how their values may not align with those of the Mormon church. I thought it was going to explore how a lot of these women are encouraged to get married really young and have kids really young, and there's a lot of rules within the religion that are rooted within the patriarchy, and I thought the show was going to be about like breaking away from that and the woman seeing that that's kind of not where they want to be. But then I'm watching these episodes and they maybe mention this, but at the same time the women all are so still dead set on being within the Mormon church and following the rules of the church. It was a little bit confusing to me. And like I said, I only watched a few episodes, so don't come for me. Don't get mad at me. This is just my opinions based off of a couple episodes. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. They say things like they want to empower women and break away from certain stigmas within the Mormon religion and all this stuff. But then at the same time, they're following all the rules and regulations of the Mormon religion, and they are still deeply within it, and they want to be. It was a little bit confusing to me on that sense. And the other thing that I didn't care for in the show was the fact that it's about influencers. And I think for me personally, I just have influencer fatigue. So when they're talking about their brand deals, they're talking about how much money they're making off of an Instagram post. They're going on these brand trips for free. Like they're getting sent on these trips when they most definitely have the money to buy their own vacations. It's not just them. I'm not hating on these women or anything. It's kind of like I'm fatigued from all influencers and just like the reality and the culture behind these people. I feel like influencers are really out of touch nowadays. They don't live in the real world. They're so far away from where normal people are. And I'm a little bit tired of it. I see it every day on my phone. And now I tuning into the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and they're talking about brand deals. They're talking about the ridiculous amount of money that they're making from posting a picture. It's just not for me, I don't think. And I know that's not the whole show. And I'm guessing that the show gets more drama and stuff in it as it goes on. So I don't want people to feel like I'm coming at the show or coming at people who watch the show. I'm sure it gets juicy later. Let me know if I should continue to watch it. But that was just like from the first couple of episodes, which are the only context for the show that I have. That was my initial opinions. And I know it's a me problem. I feel like maybe the influencer fatigue is a me problem. I'm just overall just tired of influencers in general. But all that being said, there are some people that are on the fence about seeing Taylor as the Bachelorette. One of the big reasons for this is she was arrested for domestic violence. The charges were dropped as she pled guilty to aggravated assault, and she went on probation for that. And she does speak about this a little bit on the show and off the show. And it seems like from what her fans have said that she is trying to take accountability. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who think, let's wait and see if she really does continue to take accountability, continue to try and grow and change. And maybe let's, give somebody else the platform of The Bachelorette. And I can see that side of thinking. Also, in my research, I was trying to figure out what the fans of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives were feeling with this decision. And most of them are obviously excited. They're excited for the drama that Taylor is going to bring. But I think there's a smaller group of people that are a little bit worried because they would rather not see Taylor be the Bachelorette, as they feel like maybe she shouldn't be jumping into another relationship. Remember, she got married very young. She got divorced and she jumped into another relationship. That didn't work out. And now she's going on The Bachelorette, which is a show about quickly getting engaged, after only knowing somebody for a short time. So I can see why people who are fans of her may have some qualms about maybe we don't want to see her jump into another relationship. And the whole point of The Bachelorette is to see somebody get engaged really quickly. So I could see that side of things too. But also at the end of the day, I'm not sure how genuine this all is going to be anyways, since there were alleged rumors that Taylor Frankie Paul was dating somebody, and then when she got asked to be the Bachelorette, she broke up with that person. So is she serious about being the Bachelorette, or is she just doing it for the money? I say probably most people that go on reality TV are doing it for the money. But, there are some people that watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette because they do want to root for people to find love. And I think it might be hard for people to be rooting for that in a season that doesn't feel as genuine. But I will also say lately, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette has not felt genuine, as they don't cast a lot of normal people on the show. And now that's perfectly fine because I'm tuning in for the drama mostly. So I don't need to see a bunch of normal people, but I do get why people want to have people on the show that they can root for. And it seems as though all the contestants are wannabe influencers, which also brings me to the point of Taylor saying in an interview that she doesn't want to date somebody who's an influencer or wants to be an influencer. And it's like, The Bachelorette is not the place to go then, because I fear most of the guys are signing up for The Bachelorette because they want to use The Bachelorette as jumping off points for their influencer careers. I mean, we saw it with many guys before. We saw Grant, who was one of the former bachelors, trying to launch music. He's not the first person on The Bachelor to try and launch music. I think we all remember Jed. I'll be a Mr. Right girl. I'll be a Mr. Right. Mr. Right. We all remember that. But with all that being said, they don't really cast normal people on TV anymore. The only normal people I've seen on TV lately are Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones. With all this being said, I kind of see both sides to the coin. Do I think this choice to make Taylor Frankie Paul the Bachelorette is going to bring in a lot of new viewers? Absolutely, I do. She's very popular. She has a big following on social media, and she has a big following of people that like her from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She also has a big following of people that are going to watch as like a hate watch because they're hoping she just brings drama. And that's going to bring in a lot of people too. I think the decision is good for bringing in new viewers to the show. I definitely think the show is going to have a spike in the first couple of episodes at least. Where I'm on the fence with this decision is I'm not sure if this decision to have Taylor as the Bachelorette is going to carry all the way through the season. As once we start getting towards the end of the show, people like to see things get a little more genuine. Of course, I do still want drama at the end of the show or it gets boring, but I also do want something to root for, as when I was researching online how a lot of people felt about Taylor being the Bachelorette, I think people have some similar views of, is there going to be anything to root for? Because at the end of the day, the Bachelorette does not seem like the place to fall in love anymore. So what are we rooting for? The drama? And is the drama going to carry all the way through the end of the season? I'm not sure, because I think the people that watch The Bachelorette because they like the mix of the drama and they like the bit of genuineness at the end where people, fall in love. We know it doesn't always work out. It mostly doesn't work out. A lot of these people are just there to be on TV at the end of the day. So how genuine is the show anymore, if it ever was? But I think that's where they're going to have an especially harder time when you cast an influencer and you cast a lot of wannabe influencers, if that makes any sense. I hope I'm making sense here. I hope she brings the drama. I hope we get drama all the way through, but I'm not sure if we will see the views continue to stay up throughout the entirety of the season. I'm not sure if this is going to be a long-lasting fix, but it will definitely be interesting to watch, especially in the early episodes. So in conclusion, with the mess of the behind the scenes drama, with the mess of all the past scandals of The Bachelorette, with the hardships of trying to compete with so many other dating shows, and the mess of trying to do a complete overhaul of your production and revamp your show only to fail, in my opinion, do we think that this stunt casting decision and more revamps of the show are going to save this dying franchise, or are we about to witness a bit of a crash and burn? Let me know what you think. I personally think that the decision to name Taylor as the new Bachelorette is very interesting. I think a lot of people are going to be drawn to the season initially within the first few episodes, but if the show can't deliver on being entertaining enough, I am not sure if this is going to be a long-term fix for gaining viewership again within the franchise. Is the Bachelor franchise on its last breathing life? Possibly so, but I would love to know what everybody else thinks in the comments, especially about revamping the show, about the way they edit things now. I would love to know what you guys think about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and about Taylor in particular. Will you be watching the show for Taylor? Do you like Taylor Frankie Paul? Let me know why in the comments. Are you planning on watching the Bachelor franchise? Have you watched the Bachelor franchise before? Have you fallen off like a lot of people have? I would love to know all these things. Just remember to please be nice to each other in the comments. And that's all I have for you today. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like. Leave me a comment, and don't forget to click on my channel and check out some of my other stuff. If you like some of my other stuff, you might want to subscribe to my channel so you always know when I post a new video. And with all that being said, thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next one.